Sam, this is your Unit 5B work that I'm going to give you feedback on in order to help you improve it. You're going to notice that I have reorganised your work somewhat. It's better presentation and we'll save on paper and admin later on, so if you could stick to this format, that would be great. Okay, on this page you do identify the barriers that people do face to exercise. What a barrier is something that stops somebody from achieving something. So what we're talking about here, barriers to exercise, something that would stop an individual from exercising. So you've got time, motivation, lack of interest, personal injury, access to facilities, commitment, emotional, and cost. These are the 8 barriers, the key barriers that we're interested in today. You've made a good start in describing how they stop people from participating in sport. Just review each one and make sure that you've given as much information as you can, but also that you've given an example of what you mean for each one. This will help you better describe what you're talking about and will ultimately achieve you a higher grade. Okay, so this is a strategy slide, and again you have a clear title, however it's incomplete. As you can see, implementing enjoying activities, no explanation or description as to how that would help somebody overcome a barrier. Support and reinforcement, rewards, setting smarter goals and benefits. These are the 5 areas, these are the 5 strategies that we want to discuss. What we need to do now is understand what a strategy is. A strategy is something that's going to help somebody overcome something. So it's a plan, it's guidance on how you can actually overcome the barriers we just talked about. So for each of the 5 areas I've highlighted, you now need to say, with examples where you can, how each one will actually help somebody to overcome a barrier. If you started to do it here, you could get support from your friends and family, or you could train by yourself. Can you explain a bit more about what sort of support you might get? Again, here you talk about rewards. What type of rewards would you suggest in order to overcome the barrier you might face? Again, with the benefits, try and be as clear as you can. You will be able to do what you have trained for, so give me an example. What do you actually mean? Review this slide, give more details, give examples, and move on to the next when you have updated. Okay, Sam, you've given some good piece of work this, but what you have to do is detail 4 barriers that affect you, and then the 4 strategies that will deal with these barriers. So for example, is cost a barrier to you exercising? Is personal injury a barrier to you exercising? Commitment? Access to facilities? If this is the case, and these 4 barriers reflect you and your inability to exercise at times, then what you need to do is give details. So give examples of what you mean and describe how each one of these 4 things stops you from exercising. So rather than say you may not commit to the training or the sport you are doing because you may not enjoy it, what do you think about that? Does that reflect you or not really? If not really, you need to change it. If it does reflect you, good. Expand. Once you've decided on your 4 barriers and that they accurately reflect you and things that might stop you from exercising, that's when we need to deal with strategies, because that's when you need to figure out what strategy you might employ in order to deal with cost. So you put support financially or ask for support. You could borrow, go around a friend's house and use their training equipment. That's not a bad example, but is that something that you're going to do? Does it relate to you? The same for personal injury, the same for commitment, the same for access to facilities. When you're dealing with the strategies, these are the strategies that you will try to use to overcome the barriers that you personally face. This piece of work is about you, whereas the other 2 slides were more about general people and how the general population faces barriers and strategies to exercise. When you've done this work and you're happy with it, save it, and then as usual email me a copy. Thank you.